This is a lot to digest, guys. So I put up a few videos already if you want to check it out, and already made a playlist of Resident Evil 3 Remake content, which is the State of Play trailer, a little snippet of gameplay, and some official screenshots. But, of course, and my reaction, but of course I wanted to make an in-depth analysis video and talking about all the confirmed information that we know of Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil Resistance. So this is a lot to take in, and this is amazing. This is, you know, when you're a fan of anything, obviously when you get a new iteration, but there's something special about remakes of old games, especially ones that you thought would never happen. I never thought Resident Evil 2 was going to get remade, and I never thought that Resident Evil 3 would get remade, but here we are. Resident Evil 2, in my opinion, was a masterpiece. It's up for a nomination for Game of the Year, which is awesome. And in less than 4 months, we're all going to be playing Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil Resistance. So let's get the basics out the way. I'm going to be going over things from the PlayStation blog. I'm going to be going over stuff from the special director message, and I'm going to be going over things from the official trailer that we got at State of Play. And, you know, kind of giving my thoughts a little bit, as well as kind of trying to analyze some of the things that were in the trailer that, unless you've already played the game, you know, you wouldn't really like know too much about, because obviously there are going to be people who are going to be playing Resident Evil 3 for the first time, probably as people who played Resident Evil 2 for the first time, never played the original version. So let's get some basic things out the way. Number one, there was a few leaked images last week confirming that Resident Evil 3 was going to be a thing, and that Project Resistance would now be called Resident Evil Resistance. This was leaked because this bot that basically adds an image and the code, like information for any games that go up on PSN, basically put it up a little too early, which honestly really sucks, because it gave it away. And this, especially for Resident Evil fans, this is, you know, would have been crazy to first see. We all were expecting it to be announced at the State of Play only because of those images. If we didn't know that, we wouldn't be expecting it. So it sucks that it ruined the fun. I didn't cover those leaks. I know quite a few people took to, you know, YouTube to make videos and talking about it. I did it because other than those 2 leaked images, or 2 or 3 leaked images, there was nothing else. There was nothing at all that we could talk about. So it'd just literally be talking about, oh hey, this image got leaked, I guess it's gonna happen at the Game Awards. That's it. So that's why I didn't talk about it. But now we have a trailer. We have a little bit of gameplay. We've got images. We've got a release date, and we've got confirmation of the name change from Project Resistance to Resident Evil Resistance. And I'm so happy that Capcom went with the decision to make Project Resistance, which is now Resident Evil Resistance, to be the multiplayer component, an add-on portion of Resident Evil 3 that you don't have to pay any additional money for. It's included, so it just makes the bundle all that much sweeter. And we don't know that if Resident Evil 3 is still going to retain its Mercenaries mode, which I hope it really does, because Mercenaries in Resident Evil 3 was a lot of fun, and it would be cool to, you know, keep that, maybe even make it better. I mean, hell, you're able to fight like 2 Nemesis at the same time in certain rooms and whatnot, so we'll see if that makes a return, but I really, really hope so. So yeah, so Resident Evil Resistance is the new name. We've got 2 new characters, which, you know, I don't mind. I think that's perfectly fine. I think, and I'm gonna get their names right here for you. I'm gonna be I'm doing this live in one take, no, you know, editing. I'm just the video portion will be edited, but the audio is all gonna be done in one shot. So the 2 new characters, the 2 new survivors, are Becca, who is a local park ranger and skilled markswoman, and Martin, a mechanic who's got a knack for machines and technology. And I'm also going to be leaving a link in the description to the PlayStation blog if you want to go ahead and read that. But real quick about Resident Evil Resistance, no real new information. Still, you know, the 4v1 asymmetrical co-op multiplayer game. and the whole thing with the Mastermind. But they did confirm that Annette Birkin will be a Mastermind, most definitely, with her monster card would be Mr. X. William Birkin. As Daniel, who's the basic one, has Mr. X. So that was something that was teased in an image, as the promotional image in the background. You saw Annette on the computer, so everyone assumed that Annette was going to be one, and now they confirmed Annette will be, as they say here, one of the multiple masterminds. So we will definitely have more than two. Will we have more than two at launch? No idea, but I just want to quickly talk about Residual Resistance before I get into Resident Evil 3. My hope is that it's a good game, a good portion, I guess. I also get the feeling that Capcom may sell it as a side thing to not have to own Resident Evil 3. Maybe they sell it at a cheaper price. I don't know what the pricing would be. Maybe $20, maybe $15. I have no idea. Anything more than that would be, ridiculous. But constantly update it, but don't pump out paid content left and right. Like, why not release a ton of free characters, free skins, or incentives to earn them? Eventually make more maps, make more masterminds. You obviously intend to have multiple masterminds, as you say here in the official blog, so why not even make some more? Why don't you make Nikolai with Nemesis? That's just an easy one to throw out there, considering this is being packaged with Resident Evil 3, and then there's so much more things you can do to add even more villains from the Resident Evil universe in a way that it makes sense, because you can have not only a villain character who may not necessarily be someone who fights, but then you can also have them with a monster that does. There's a lot of things you can do with Residual Resistance, and I'm actually excited for it, more excited for it now, knowing that it is a part of Resident Evil 3, which millions of people are going to buy. It's going to sell well, just like Resident Evil 2 sold well. It probably might even sell better than Resident Evil 2, because Jill's amazing, number one. Number two, everyone loves Nemesis, and I say love, but I also mean is terrified, but still want to have a part of this. And I think just the hype, and it's going to be one of the last big games for this current generation, because we are moving into the next gen. So the fact that Capcom has pumped out 3 super high quality Resident Evil games, I say that by meaning 7, 2, and 3, which I know sounds backwards, but you get what I'm saying. It's crazy. And then, of course, Resident Evil Resistance as well, and Umbrella Corps, if we want to count that, but I'm not counting that. They've done a tremendous job this generation. I feel like early on they weren't, kind of lost, but towards the end of this console generation, they've done such a tremendous job. And I don't just mean with Resident Evil. I'm just using Resident Evil in this example because obviously that's what we're talking about. But I hope that Resident Evil Resistance does well. I hope it's something that is supported and actually does have a following. I know there was a following for Operation Raccoon City, and that was a decent game as far as the multiplayer. Yes, it's not a super polished game, but again, it wasn't made by Capcom, but that's a different topic for a different day. Regardless, we've got 2 new characters for this game. It's going to be bundled with Resident Evil 3, so that's what we know about Resident Evil Resistance. They said there's going to be more news in the coming months, so we'll see. And I'll definitely cover anything related to the game, and I hope that people give it a chance. I'll definitely be streaming it. I'll definitely be doing video content for it. I'm excited for it. I wanted to play more. I just hope the polish and the balancing are there from the the open, or not, the closed beta rather, because there was definitely issues in polish and definitely issues in balancing, and it was in beta, so I excuse it, but I really hope that when it releases that it's all, at least for the most part, fixed up. And that's all I gotta say about Resident Evil Resistance. I'm excited for it to see, to see what it's going to be like in the end. Obviously, the real meat here is Resident Evil 3. God, I can't believe it's a thing. I like how, some people are going, oh, I called it. I knew it. Of course it was going to happen. Resident Evil 2 was a huge success. There was no way they weren't going to do Resident Evil 3. Come on. It was like a given. My thing would be if they actually remake Code Veronica. That would be surprising. I would totally welcome that. And I think Code Veronica stands, you know, the test of time. It's still really good for today, and you can play it on PS4 and Xbox One, so, you know, it is available to play. But I'm really hoping it does get remade, because why not? Why not? Why not? Would like to see the game expanded, see Alexia in full HD and all that. That'd be really cool. Anyway, Resident Evil 3. So it got announced. It's a thing coming out for PS4, Xbox One, and PC, April 3rd, 2020. There is going to be a collector's edition, which is very reminiscent of the Resident Evil 2 collector's edition. Obviously, I'm talking the remake. It's going to come with a standard edition copy of the game, physical. It's going to come with a digital double album soundtrack, which just sounds like too many words. That should just be called digital soundtrack, which is basically going to be a combination of Resident Evil 3, and it's going to be a combination of Resident Evil Resistance songs, the soundtrack. It's going to come with a Raccoon City double-sided map. It's like a poster, a collector's art book, a Stars item box packaging, looks like the, you know, item box. You're going to get the pre-order costumes for the classic costume pack, which is going to be the original Resident Evil 3 Jill and the original Resident Evil 3 Carlos. And last but not least, you get the 11-inch Jill Valentine figurine, which looks amazing, and I can't wait to get it, and I can't wait to have it on display right next to my Leon figure from the Resident Evil 2 Collector's Edition. I absolutely love Jill's design. As I said in the reveal video, you know, Carlos's design, I don't know, like it's something that threw me off. The more I saw like the gameplay portions of it, like from the trailer, the more I'm okay with it. It's not really a big deal to me. A lot of people really hate it. It looks like he's Miguel from Tekken, but whatever, you know, it's something that'll probably change. My perspective will probably change on it when I play the game, so for now it's whatever. But Jill looks amazing. I absolutely love Jill's, not only her clothing design, but just her face character model and everything. They've been basing, obviously, these character models off of real people who they're usually models. So, you know, they picked a really good look for Jill, and I couldn't be more like excited for it, honestly. She looks great. I love her outfit. I love the voice. I just can't wait to play the damn game, you know, play as Jill finally remade. Obviously, people are upset because it's not Julia Voth, but I mean, personally, I didn't think it was going to happen. You know, they've been going in a newer direction, and I didn't see them doing it. Yes, it would have been awesome, of course, considering she was ahead of the time, really. She was the face model for Jill in Resident Evil Remake. They altered it a bit in Resident Evil 5, but she was definitely the face for her in Remake, and it was perfect. But I knew they weren't going to go that route because they're going in a completely different route, which I think is fine. I love the character models in Resident Evil 2, and I love them in this game so far. I think it's going to be fine. I think people are going to like it even more when they play the game. When I saw the leaked image, I was A-okay with it. I said, Jill looks great. She looks beautiful. I'm okay with that. So, and that's still my stance on it. I think she looks fine. I'm not worried whatsoever. So yeah, that's how I feel about the looks. Brad's in the game, which is cool. We're going to see him get a really nice death from Nemesis, which is going to be very interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and rewatch the trailer here just to kind of, you know, get some thoughts again into my mind. So I really like the way they did this trailer. They're talking about the single player component. So my theory is that I think it's not NetEase. I forget. Let me see the company who they outsourced Resident Evil Resistance to. It is, let me find it here. Okay, wait, I almost found it. Okay, NeoBars, or NeoBars. I think that's how you pronounce it, NeoBars. Entertainment? Interactive? Entertainment. I could barely see because of the way the image screen is right now. It's very, yeah, entertainment. NeoBars Entertainment. Okay, so that's who they outsourced Resident Evil Resistance to. So I think they personally, my theory is that they didn't have a single player component ready or even in mind at all. Some people think that they did a bait and switch, that they were like, oh hey, that this was planned from the start. They always intended to have Residual Resistance be the multiplayer component to Resident Evil 3. Personally, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. My personal thought, they didn't expect the reaction that they were going to get. And when they got the reaction they got from outsourcing, from having this multiplayer only game and a traditionally single player, you know, franchise, they decided the best idea would be to not have another Umbrella Corps, to not have another, you know, failure, considering Capcom's been doing amazing, is to bundle it with Resident Evil 3. You take the heat off of you that way, because it's like, look, this is just an additional mode. This is just an additional feature, whatever you want to call it. This isn't the retail game you're going to buy. You're not going to go to the store and you're not going to buy Resident Evil Resistance. I was going to say Project Resistance. You're going to buy Resident Evil 3, and you're getting Resident Evil Resistance with it. So you're not feeling like you're gypped out. You're looking at it more like, oh damn, this is a good value, because not only am I would have paid $60 for Resident Evil 3, but not only am I getting Resident Evil 3, but I'm getting Resident Evil Resistance as well. So I can try that out because I already own it. So, excuse me, rather than have that, you know, where it's like, we got to worry if people are going to buy it, you have it already. People are buying because they're buying Resident Evil 3, so that way you're making your money back. And I think that that's a smart decision. I really don't think they were doing a bait and switch. Maybe it's a possibility, but personally, I feel they may have looked at their numbers. They might have gotten feedback from the beta. I liked it, but there were definitely some glaring issues, like I mentioned, the polish, the balancing, things like that. So I think this is a much smarter decision to include it, to change the name and to include it. And I think that's a really good decision. So looking here at the State of Play announcement trailer, I wholeheartedly believe that the first-person view of Jill running away from Nemesis is the new opening to the game. It looks like it would make sense, and I think it's actually a very intense opening. And I like how it's all done. This amazing engine, it's all done in engine, you know, and it just looks so damn good. Just fast forwarding a little bit in here, but I like how they're still kind of like not directly showing you. They show you Nemesis, but not like 100% directly. Like, I'm pausing it here, and you can tell it's him, and you know, it just looks great. It's a cool new play on her, you know, jumping out the fire in the beginning. I'm wondering if they're gonna still have the whole easy mode thing where you begin with an assault rifle. I doubt it, but there are some cool new narrative things that I've noticed in this trailer. Like for one, you actually see citizens running in the street. You know, innocent citizens. Resident Evil 3 actually did have some people that you interacted with, but before you can get to them, they all got murdered. The girl, when you go back to the beginning area, she gets murdered right next to the staircase by the zombie. There's the guy who you just hear screaming in the street near the boutique shop. Obviously the guy, you know, that you talk to right in the beginning. I mean, there's a few different people that you interact with in the game that are human, you know, integral characters to the game, but they all pretty much all die. So it's cool to see that you actually see some running in the street. They probably play no significance, but it's just cool to see. Also, Brad actually talking to Jill ahead of time. In the original Resident Evil 3, obviously, those are going to be familiar. Brad's already infected, already like hurt, wounded by the time you first see Jill in the bar. You obviously talked to him earlier in this, which is pretty cool, and he already discusses with you that Nemesis is, in his words in this, has a hard-on for STARS members, that he's specifically targeting STARS members, so I think that's pretty interesting. And this is another shot. I'm gonna pause it here and for the you know, when I do the editing here. And I'm right now in real time, I'm slowing it down so I can get a look at it again, because this was the interesting thing to me, because I have a theory and I'm pretty sure that I'm right, because I see a lot of other people not having this theory, but I had this theory a long time ago when I first saw Resident Evil 2 Remake gameplay. For some reason my throat's itchy, I apologize. But in the police station, the RPD, I'm going to say this again because a lot of people get really confused. Resident Evil 2 takes place, Resident Evil 2 Remake takes place okay, when Jill gets infected, prior to that, because obviously she knocks out, the first half of Resident Evil 3 from that point takes place before Resident Evil 2. When Jill gets infected and that whole thing occurs when you switch to Carlos, that takes place during Resident Evil 2. So Resident Evil 2 starts at that point, which is why, you know, in Resident Evil 2, the, you know, Raccoon City's still there. It's not exploded. It wouldn't make sense, right? Like, how would that make sense if Raccoon City exploded and then you have Resident Evil 2 take place? It takes place kind of at the it takes place at the same time, but just, you know, one part's earlier than the other. So my thing was, when you play the original Resident Evil 3, you go to the RPD. Your whole objective to go back to the RPD is just to get Jill's lockpick from her desk. That's the real only reason you go there. Obviously, there's weapons, there's healing, there's zombies that you encounter, or whatever. But and also that's when a second time you see Nemesis. But that's your intention of going there. So what I find interesting is Carlos never goes there. No one else ever goes there with you. Jill goes alone. But we see in this trailer, Carlos and God, I forgot the guy's name. Forget this guy's name, but he's the mercenary that in Resident Evil 3 the original, he dies in the hospital from the explosion. Forget his name. But you see here that Carlos and him are going down the steps, which is now if we're talking from the Resident Evil 2 remake, is the entrance for the second scenario, the B games. So they're going, and he even talks about going to the Stars room, which I find interesting, because why does Carlos or any of the, you know, Umbrella, I guess, core people want to go to the Stars office of all things? I'm assuming it's probably to use the comms. Not sure, but that's something brand new because that wasn't in the original Resident Evil 3. So that's very interesting to me, that not only can you just obviously tell environment-wise that they're going there, but then that you even hear him talk about going to the Stars office. So very curious as to why that's happening, why they're going there, why they made it a priority. But I'm telling you, my theory is Nemesis destroyed some of those walls, or at least destroyed some parts of the RPD prior to Resident Evil 2, because there's a lot of destruction there. And yes, obviously part of it's going to be common sense, the cops fighting back against the zombies, people taking shelter in there. Yes, but there's no way that Nemesis didn't cause some kind of havoc in there. Jill's definitely going to go there, no doubt about it, and he's going to chase her there because that's an iconic part of the original. And obviously with the physics and just the way the games were back in the day, you couldn't create something like that. So I think that's definitely going to be a possibility. I made a theory video about that a long time ago. Some people said I was clickbaiting, overreaching. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. Pretty damn sure, especially considering we are getting this remake. It looks great. We get a shot here as well of Jill, which I'm assuming this is her apartment, because in the opening sequence of the original Resident Evil 3, Jill was in her apartment, you know, talking about what's been going on with the city, what's been going on with Umbrella, things like that. And you see her here looking out the window and having the news on and just keeping tabs on what's been going on, because obviously Jill at this point has been through Resident Evil 1, so she's experienced already. Plus, she's a badass. She's always been a badass, even in the first game. And you see her keeping tabs here. I'm actually looking now more at this. I'm opening it up. Looks like, yeah, you see William. This looks like William Birkin in the corner there. Huh, the stars photos in the corner from Resident Evil 2. So she's been keeping tabs on everything, and yeah, that's interesting to see all that stuff there. This whole sequence where Jill is in front of the mirror, the bathroom mirror, and in front of the sink, and she sees herself kind of zombified. My assumption is that that's going to be part of like a dream nightmare that she has when she gets infected. Spoilers: she gets infected at the clock tower. And another thing I noticed here really funny is she's running to this helicopter. The run animation that she's doing is the caution animation for female characters in Resident Evil 2. I was going to say Claire, but in the Ghost Survivors, you can play as Catherine Warren, which, not to mention, in Residual Resistance as well, uses the same engine. The female characters, when they get in a state of caution, this is the animation that they do. And the little fun fact is this for speedrunners and people who want to beat the game fast. You actually run faster. Claire runs faster in caution than she does in fine. But I think it has to be yellow caution. I'm not 100% sure. We got a small gameplay portion here. Jill's already got like some kind of like blood, like scratches on her. I'm assuming this looks like maybe her road to the police station. They're reusing zombie assets from Resident Evil 2, which I don't think it's a big deal. It's perfectly fine. It's not like, the games prior never used reused assets, so it's not a big deal. But they're definitely reusing some zombie assets here. Reusing same animations from Resident Evil 2, which is perfectly fine because this game uses the same engine and they all look great. I love how colorful the city looks, and Resident Evil 3 has always been more colorful than Resident Evil 2, so it's just cool to see that. And everything just looks so much more detailed. And I just noticed something. I'm going to go back a little bit, but it looks like Jill still gets the side pack. Because if you look at that initial shot where she comes out from, I'm assuming, her apartment complex, and you see the explosion, she looks like she doesn't even have a gun, but she doesn't have any, she doesn't have like what's the side pack in the original. You fast forward a little bit more into the trailer, and she's totally got the side pack on, so that's pretty cool. Pretty cool little detail there. Yeah, this just looks great. This just looks really good. Man, I just can't believe it's a thing. We do it again. They did it again. Let's go ahead real quick and look at the special developer message, because there's a bit of some Resident Evil 3 news in here as well. So I'm just gonna go ahead and skip into it. So talking about characters, and obviously they're doing this because people are gonna play this as their first ever Resident Evil game, as with any new iteration. And people who maybe aren't too familiar with Resident Evil, they're obviously talking about the basic characters, talking about Jill. Obviously the underplay, how awesome she is, but the city, the city looks great here. You see the shot here, and then here's actual gameplay. So let me put this in regular playback speed. So this is the only snippet of actual true gameplay so far. You see here that Jill, that they do show that Jill does have the dodging mechanic. The dodging mechanic is still in the game. To me, it's taken straight out of Resident Evil Revelations 2. It looks identical to Revelations 2, which is a really good dodging system. I don't know why they didn't take the handgun ammo that was right there on the barrel, but God, her run animation is different from Claire's. It looks great. You see the gas station in the distance. God, I can't wait to play this, man. It's gonna be amazing. the shadows aligning everything. And you know what the thing to me is with Resident Evil 2 Remake, when you wanted to get away from a zombie or whatever the case, you just go, because you're in a closed, you know, area, you just go straight into the next room. And the zombies could break through, obviously. And one interesting thing also with the game, with how, you know, intelligent the AI is, that they're able to follow you to a certain degree and detect you. But there is still that whole thing of them not being able to go too far to us from a certain point. And since this is a huge open area, I'm kind of curious to see how far they can chase you and how wise it is to skip most enemies. Considering you don't stay in a set place for too long, you can revisit areas before you head to the clock tower and unlock things with new key items that you have. Also, gunpowder is probably going to make a return, considering it was a huge success in Resident Evil 2. And yeah, it's going to be great. The stuff here they talk about Residual Resistance. They say that they held the closed beta and they got a positive feedback. They got positive feedback from it, which I agree. Like I said, I thought it was fun. I thought it was good. I think there's just a few issues they need to iron out. They're huge issues, but if they iron them out, they could, you know, have a success on their hands. But they do not say anything special here. They just say Resident Evil 3 comes with the online multiplayer game, Resident Evil Resistance, and will be launching worldwide on April 3rd, 2020. Talking about the collector's edition here. And a little thing that I noticed here in the corner is that they show the cover art for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One version, and the Xbox One version says 4K Ultra HDR, Xbox One X Enhanced. We know that, you know, PS4 Pro is not really truly able to do native 4K, whereas Xbox One X can. So I'm kind of curious to see if Resident Evil 3 is going to be targeting 4K 60 FPS, or you know, have a option to have 1080p 4K 30 FPS, or, you know, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be like, but I wonder if it's going to run better on Xbox. I'll definitely be picking it up for both anyway. They're showing off the statue here, which looks amazing, right next side by side to the Leon statue. And they basically just said that, hey, this isn't possible without the fans. And yeah, one quick small thing that I want to show before I close this video up and give my final thoughts. And I'm going to be slowing it down for the video when I edit it together. But if you look really, really closely, just trying to find it here. I think I might have skipped past it by mistake. Let's see where I find it. I think it's right here. You get yourself a nice up-close view of what's going to be our favorite best friend, the Hunters. And if you haven't dealt with the Hunters before, I'm sure most of you have probably played Resident Evil 3 or any of the Resident Evil games that had Hunters. They are way worse than Lickers. If you thought Lickers were bad, hell, if you thought Mr. X was bad compared to Nemesis, is going to be hell. So I'm excited to see. I'm definitely sure that we'll see more content as, you know, time goes on. Jeff Keighley, who, you know, does the Game Awards, confirmed that this was not going to be at the Game Awards, that because he said that none of the content was leaked and Resident Evil 3 was leaked, so it was basically indicating this was not going to be at the Game Awards. So the idea of us seeing more gameplay at the Game Awards is not going to happen. But apparently Capcom is, I don't know if they're a part of or that they're holding, whatever, something called the Jump Fiesta later this month, and they're basically going to be showing off two other unannounced games. Tongue twister there. And I don't know if this is now considered one of them, but I feel like we'll see some new gameplay there. We'll see some more content. Hopefully they release a demo the way they did for Resident Evil 2, so we can get our hands on the game, see what it's like, see how it performs, things like that. And hopefully it's not a timed demo, which I thought was so irritating. Either way, I'm excited to see. I know this was a really long video, but I just wanted to go in detail with all the content, all the information released, and yeah, this is some crazy stuff, man. What a time to be a Resident Evil fan. It's just playing this and the second one when they first came out. And they even said that don't rule out the possibility of them remaking the first game. And I mean, I think I still stand by this. The Resident Evil 1 remake is perfect in every way. It is the definition of what survival horror is. But I won't lie to you and say that I wouldn't be interested in seeing how it could be from this perspective. It's not something that I'm like dying for, that they need to do next or anything, but if it's eventually something that they feel like doing, I'm not gonna say, you know, they shouldn't do it, because Resident Evil 2 was amazing. So far, Resident Evil 3 looks amazing. Resident Evil 7 was amazing. But I'm also, and I know a lot of people are more interested in the remake, but I'm very curious to see the direction of where Resident Evil 8 is going to be, because that's going to be completely brand new content, nothing to, you know, piggyback on from, you know, from something old, something existing. So that is probably going to be the next Resident Evil game, and I hope so, because I'm very curious for the future of Resident Evil, because Resident Evil 7 was great, at least in my opinion, and objectively it was received very well. So let's see what happens, guys. Let me know what you think, and if you stood through this video, thank you so much. I know this is very, very long. I just really wanted to get out all my thoughts on this game, both Resident Evil Resistance and Resident Evil 3, and just talk in detail about this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Stay tuned for anything Resident Evil coverage related. And yeah, I'm going to soon be doing even more content for Resident Evil. I'm kind of feeling really reinvigorated to do more stuff for it. So either way, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.